Now, in the continuing search for a shotgun light, I'm trying various things, and here is the latest. It's from Axion. So it's Axeon's Shotlight 120. I think the 120 is the lumens rating on this one. So this item is a bit pricey, but I found a crazy deal on a second-hand one, or a used one on Amazon, so I thought I'd give it a try. The interesting thing about this is that it actually mounts to the end of the magazine tube, and it has 3 adapters, one for Remington, Winchester, and Mossberg. So let's see how this works with the Mossberg Maverick 88, and it worked the same with any Mossberg 500 or similar. Now mine is the 20-inch barrel, and it has the full-length magazine tube. So you can see that it's the full length of the barrel. So it has the largest number of shells you can put in there. And the way this would attach is it would go right here. So if you see that, it would end up on the end of the magazine tube here and hang out quite a bit past the barrel. Now I'm not sure that's a great idea. It's really meant to kind of go underneath and hit somewhere like here. But you can see with the length of the barrel, and especially the length of the magazine tube, we have a bit of a problem here. And I wasn't sure how well that would work. Now this is the bolt that holds the barrel to the magazine tube. And so with many of your Mossberg barrels, it's going to be quite a distance here from the edge of the barrel here. So if you just take the bolt and you spin it, spin it, spin it, it'll come off the magazine tube and you can remove the barrel, but it won't come out. And that's because it has this retaining ring right there on the threads. You see that? And that's actually a bit of a pain to get out, but you can do it if you take some needle nose pliers or something kind of small here, and you can wedge them in so that you can turn the bolt and hold the retaining ring steady so that it will actually start de-threading or screwing off of the threads on the bolt. So if you just put some pressure on that, hold your pliers or something in there so that it could stay still while the bolt spins, then you'll be able to screw it off and remove the bolt to be able to replace it with something else. So there it is, just about coming off. It really is a pain to get off, or maybe that was just mine. But once you just kind of put pressure and keep holding it still while you unscrew the bolt, then you can take it off, there it is, and pull the bolt out to replace it with something else. Now the directions for this light, for the installation anyway, weren't that clear. So I had to try and work through and figure it out here, and maybe that can be a benefit to you. But this is the adapter for the Mossberg. It comes with 2 others, Winchester and Remington. So the Mossberg adapter, you might recognize looks like the bottom of the bolt there to go on your magazine tube. So you slip it through, and there's a retaining ring that you would start screwing on so that it holds this adapter, or the bottom of the flashlight actually, in place. Now here's the light. You can see the switch here, and basically the light is the same for no matter what gun you put it on. It has different adapters that basically make up the latter part of the light, or the bottom part. And so here is the Mossberg adapter, and then that basically goes together there, and then you have the battery inside. So one thing you might notice is that there are these, they call them gears in the instructions. So it's sort of like the teeth of a gear, and there are corresponding recesses in there for those to fit into. So the idea is you put the battery in, and you place it in there once this adapter is already on the barrel, and then you've got to take this part right here and screw it in, but then get those gears to the teeth of that gear to intermesh with the bottom part there, so it'll click in and firmly hold it there. So that's the part that makes it a little bit tricky to get this light on. And something else I'll point out is there are these little Allen set screws, one on either side. So that, I guess, holds it in a bit more firmly. Now, if you can imagine, the recoil of a shotgun might be enough to work those loose. And I guess they've thought about that here, because included with the whole packaging is there's your Allen wrench and 2 replacement screws. So you may want to put a little of Loctite, the type that is you can remove with heat. You might want to put a little Loctite in there to hold those screws in. I would hate to keep wondering, if those are going to be working their way out or not each time you shoot off some shells there. So that's sort of the makeup of the light right here. You'll be using these 2 parts here. So here are the other adapters for Remington and Winchester. So it all kind of comes together like this. I guess you won't really need those. The nice thing is that you have, see, the Mossberg one is the one that comes there already attached to the light. And it also comes with battery and some instructions. But mainly we're going to look at how to get this thing on and get it working. But I do have my extended barrel here, my 28-inch. And so there's the mount right there. And so I'm thinking that it should work pretty well right like that. And that's really kind of what you want, is to have it underneath the barrel and not, of course, sticking out. So this may work just fine right here. So the instructions it comes with are a little bit vague, but I think I figured out how this should go on. Here's the Mossberg adapter, and so that's going to go in right where the retaining bolt for the magazine tube would go. So it'll stay in like that, and then of course you'll need the retaining ring that comes off of the bolt right here to hold this in place, make sure it doesn't fall out. I've threaded that retaining ring back on the bolt here, so it's holding this in place, and I'm not tightening it up extremely tight yet, because it still has to be able to thread into the magazine tube and lock it in that way. So I'll put it there in the magazine tube and see how we can get it fitting on, see how securely it holds right in there. Now there it is, right there where the bolt used to be, and you can see this bottom part here just sort of spins freely. So the next thing to do is to take the light itself with the battery, and the battery has the positive end pointing down towards the gun, and put it in here to then get it to thread onto this freely spinning part, which is right here. And to get it in all the way, those little teeth of the gear I showed you have to fit together. And you'll know it's all fit together and that they're engaged and interlocked when there's no bare metal showing right here. If you see a little gap with a bare metal right in there, it's not quite in. But if it all looks nice and black there, it's in. And you, because you spin this part to get the threads to engage, you can adjust the flashlight part to sort of orient however you want it. Now here's the button that turns it on, and that's really all you have. There's no remote switch or anything, because I guess there's no place for it to fit, as it goes right onto the, the magazine tube of the gun. So I've got this facing pretty much downward, meaning it's not, I guess, that great for tactical use, because I've got the shotgun here, especially with the longer magazine tube. It's really pretty far out there. I guess I can reach it. So let me put the fore end up, and so it's right out here. So there's the light, and it does a pretty good job. Let me turn off some lights here, and we'll see how it looks in a darkened room. So that's it on the end of the gun. And again, aligned perfectly with the bottom of the barrel. So you get a pretty good illuminated area for where you're pointing at. So that's how it looks in a darkened environment. So we'll just reach all the way down here. Oh, there it is, and turn that off. And there you have it, the Axion Shotlight. So I'm guessing for defensive purposes, this would work better if you have a shorter magazine tube, so you can reach it more easily. I can reach this if I stretch, but this 28-inch barrel is not really something I would be using for defensive purposes, especially indoors, more than likely. But I guess it's kind of nice to have this, light. It was a really handy place if you want to have a light on a shotgun. And it's not something mounted to the forearm here, because I've seen some that do that, and you can get forearms that have the Picatinny rail so you can put a light on it. But then if your light is on, your light's constantly moving, as you're charging the gun. So up here, it's actually a really nice place for it, nice and stable. And the light seems to be pretty bright, like it would do its job. The downsides, I think, are just that if you have an extended magazine tube, it's way out there, and you have to reach in to get this. I get this button right there at the bottom, and they are a bit pricey unless you can find a really crazy deal on them. But really a nice shotgun accessory, and one that doesn't really add any bulk or any edges hanging out to get stuck on. So a pretty neat idea. Axion Shotlight 120.